Welcome back to our little mini series from Scrap Cooking about how to cut like a chef. Today's episode is going to be this beautiful, one of my favorite vegetables, fennel. You have to like the taste of black licorice though. So I understand if you don't, but those who do, this is a treat. So, fennel's in the dill family. As you can see, these guys are called fronds, rhymes with pond. And they are delicious and herbaceous. So I actually like to just take these guys off, and then I use them pretty much exactly how I would use dill. You can put them in tuna salad or potato salad. Goes really, really lovely with fish. All sorts of uses. But yeah, so I like to take these guys right off. So I just pull them off with your fingers. It's the easiest thing to do. Kind of get the stem between your fingers and kind of just yank, gently yank. And any one of these guys that kind of looks like wilty or brown, we'll just put that in our compost pile. But the rest of them look pretty good, so. If they've got tiny little stems on them, that's okay too. These guys are a bit past their prime, so we're just gonna remove them, put them in our compost. Now, I love fennel. I also love black licorice, so. But I like it's kind of subtle. I don't find it has like a really punch you in the face black licorice taste, just a little bit anise. And I love that. I love it with fish and in all sorts of stuff. But most people just use this bulb, which is awesome. And I'm gonna show you how to use that. But these little stalks, we're just gonna cut them off, just like that. And we're also gonna cut off the smaller guys. So just with the tip of my knife, just gonna go in so that we've got this one sort of stalk that looks a bit like celery and these little tiny guys. So we'll do that to them all. Woo. So these little ones, there's a couple things we can do with them. So I like to cut them up and throw them in my tuna salad or potato salad, something where you want just a little bit of crunch, like you would diced up celery. So really just for that, I just cut them up. Nice and small. The other thing you could do is you could pickle them like we did with the dill stems. Get that extra little pickly flavor. And just so we don't dull my knife, I'm gonna use the back of my knife to lift these guys up. And I'm gonna put them aside. Now these bigger ones, sort of celery stalk-like, is exactly how we're gonna use them. We're gonna use them just like celery. So you could use them, I don't actually really love them raw, like if you were to like have like a crudité or just like eat a piece of celery. I find them a little bit fibrous. You can kind of see all these little lines on them. They're all the fibers that run up and down the stem. So they do need to be cut in order to not get stuck in your teeth or kind of be hard to chew. But after that, they're very similar to celery. So what we're gonna do with these guys is we're gonna cut them on an angle. So what I like to do for that is when it comes to cutting, you've got this lovely right angle on your cutting board, for the most part, if you're using a rectangle cutting board. And so when it comes to cutting stuff so that I'm doing it straight, I actually like to align my knife with this edge of the cutting board. And instead of turning my knife and keeping this straight, which is what most people do, I like to keep my knife straight and turn the piece of vegetable or whatever else I'm cutting, so that this way I can keep I have a better, with my eye, I can see that my knife is still straight. So we're just gonna cut it in so that it keeps a little bit, about 1/4 inch. And depending, if you want your bias to be further, you make it closer to the knife. But if you want it to be straight, then you move it down. But it's up to you. But I like them on a bias. And with these guys, we are gonna add them into a stir fry. And this little butt end, I'm gonna put, and I'm going to save it for my stock. It's great. I use it like celery in my stock, so for the mirepoix. So I'm gonna keep that aside. Now, these guys, we've got these nice little pieces, and they're gonna, when we fry them in the pan, they're gonna have a nice little crunch to them. They're gonna have that little bit of anise flavor to them. And they're not gonna be soggy. They don't have as much water content as the celery, so it doesn't get as limp as quickly, which is awesome. So I'm just gonna keep going by keeping my knife straight. They also make good pickles. Again, you gotta keep them sliced so that you cut the fibers so that they're easier to chew. But also the pickling liquid, especially if it's hot, will soften them as well. So we've got our nice fennel for stir fry. Nice and easy, just lovely little pieces. And I'll put that aside, and I'm gonna add this into my stock pile. Now for this fennel bulb, I am going to cut it down the middle, and then I'm gonna show you 2 ways that we can cut it. So, you can see on the inside, it's a series of layers, kind of like an onion, but it's all attached to this core. And so I'm gonna take out the core because it's quite hard and thick, and it's not all that nice in terms of being edible. It is edible, but it's a bit tough. So I like to take it out, but it's still delicious, and it can go in my stock. So there's a little, it's almost like a line that you can see that runs along it. So I'm actually gonna cut right along it, going from the tip of my knife just down and on the other side. And then I'm actually just gonna use my thumb, and I'm just gonna pull. And it'll pull it out, but it's still attached just by this little bit. And I'm gonna put that in my stock. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. So again, just from the top with the tip of my knife, and then the other side. And then I'm just gonna, sometimes it doesn't cooperate, and you have to just go in, kind of follow it. There we go, pop it out. So the first way that I like to cut fennel is I like to make it into little wedges. That's really delicious roasted. So I'm gonna cut it in half, and then I'm gonna cut it in half again, and then I'm gonna cut that half in half. And then we've got these lovely little wedges that can be put on a pan and thrown in the oven. So I'm just gonna take this quarter and half it. And then we're gonna do the same to this guy. So kind of rest it in the middle of the point and then put it in half. And then we're gonna hold it by the wide part and gently cut it in half, and then do the same with this guy, the last one. And then those guys we'll just throw in the oven like that. And they're really awesome with a mix of other roasted vegetables, a little medley. It's lovely as a salad. It goes really nicely with fish and other sort of light proteins. I love it. It's one of my favorites. So we'll leave that there. And the second way we're gonna do this guy is like we did the onion. So similar concept. So we're gonna hold it with the tips of our fingers from the top, kind of pushing down. And we're gonna go in about 3/4. And then we're gonna do it again, moving our fingers closer to the top as we go. And then the last one, really putting your tippy tops of your fingers on top, but still with enough pressure so that you can keep it from sliding around. So we've made 3 incisions, and then we're gonna turn it towards us like we did the onion, and we're gonna hold it from either side. And from that same spot that we stopped cutting, that's where we're gonna put the tip of the knife in and push down. And then we're gonna turn it again. And then we can cut it so that now we've got little diced fennel. And you can use that in pasta sauce. You could use it, it's really nice with mushrooms. It's really lovely, onions and garlic. You could make it for your mirepoix or sofrito. It's just lovely, especially when you sweat it down. It gets this, it's very, very mild when it's just sort of translucent, and not, you'll get a bit punchier, more flavor when you roast it, bring out the sugars. It gets a bit sweeter, but if it's just sort of almost like melted in the pan, then it just has this lovely sort of mild anise flavor to it that's really subtle and lovely. Now this little end, we're gonna throw in our stockpile. So there we have it. We have cut up and used every part of the fennel. So thanks for watching our little mini video, and we'll see you for our next episode. My name is Harriet Clooney, and can't wait to see you next time.